And so I'm going to hand it back over to Peter, who's going to talk a little bit about how these different options with the cloud managed policy server, the physical and the virtual sensor options, how those are actually deployed at Kitchener. Peter?
Yes. This diagram is basically the 10,000 feet view of our GNAC implementation. So as you can see here at our two main locations, we call them primary and secondary, we install the virtual sensors, and at all other 50 plus locations, remote locations, we opted to install the physical sensors. There is absolutely no difference whatsoever in virtual versus physical sensor. It's just we have a VMware infrastructure at these primary and secondary sites, and we just opted to load the virtual sensor there, and we just install physical sensors at all other sites. So as soon as you connect the network sensor, as Brad said a minute ago, that sensor connects to the cloud policy server and starts discovery process. So basically you are in the phase one that Brad showed a couple of slides ago. You are in discovery mode. The sensor will detect dutifully all your nodes. And then at that point, you can start seeing, you have full visibility into that location. Okay, I have this many printers, this many PCs, this many access points. And then you start categorizing those. And then what I also like to use, I like word sanitation, so basically you have discovery, then you have categorization, then you have enforcement. Well, in between categorization and enforcement, a kind of wedge sanitation. So you basically have the opportunity without affecting network performance to clean your site remotely and make it pristine clean. And then when you're done and when you're satisfied, then you can just turn the enforcement on the sensor, and then from that point on, it's a game on. So it's very, very slick way of detecting, categorizing, sanitizing, and enforcing and monitoring your nodes. So that's basically it. You can forward to another slide, or if you
great description, Peter. One thing too to also note for if you have many locations, obviously it's not convenient to be constantly visiting locations. So one thing to take into consideration, and one of the reasons this is maybe attractive for people who have lots of branches, is you're able to actually pre-configure these sensors with a little script. So you can have 50 of these sensors, you get them all pre-configured. The person who's actually plugging it in at that predefined switch port that really is nothing but a switch port with some VLANs tagged on it, that person does not have to be a very highly technical skilled person. So it's very easy to send one of these sensors out to a particular location and tell whoever, maybe a local admin or someone there, hey, can you go plug this into this switch port? And then it'll just automatically home up with the cloud policy server. So that makes it a little bit easier because you're not running around just installing hardware all over the place. And I guess, Peter, you can talk a little bit more about the platform you ended up choosing for your sensor at your branches.
Yeah, so we purchased these inexpensive Intel NUC units. I believe it stands for Next Unit of Computing. Essentially, they're bare bone mini PC kits, and we assembled them with some DDR3 RAM and solid state hard drives. We loaded Genian's sensor image on them for each location, and we deployed them at each location. This obviously took a bit of planning and some legwork, like Brad mentioned, but at the end of the day, now we have full visibility into each and every of these remote sites. Now you can use any device, anything, even old PC. You can load an image. We would not advise you to do that. You have to select something appropriate. So we thought this mini PC kit was very appropriate for the use case. So you basically, like Brad said, you select the port on your switch at your remote location, you designate that switch and configure it as trunk port, because it's going to be handling multiple VLANs for various purpose and functions. And then the moment you connect, the moment it appears in the cloud policy server. So back to you, Brad.
Thanks, Peter. We've actually had other people actually, inquire about, the process and the platform that Kitchener has utilized, because it worked well for them, and so that's a good use case to really, among MISA and really non-MISA members, to talk about that use case and what platforms may work best for different organizations.